The Twins take on the Reds, 12:35 Eastern Standard Time. The Cincinnati Reds are minus 235, totals 9.5. And if you'd like Minnesota to win this one outright, they're plus $2 for some money line cash. Now the Twins are also catching even money on the run line. Charlie Barnes is expected on the mound for Minnesota. Luis Castillo for Cincinnati. And following yet another losing day on my Patreon website yesterday, we still did improve to 5-0 in our last 5 extra daily pick tier package plays on that Patreon page. And if you want to access today's extra daily pick, it's only going to cost you just $2.99. We've been red hot in that membership. We're also a perfect 3-0 in our last 3 MLB tier package picks on that Patreon site as well. And we've got ourselves another MLB tier package pick going off here this evening. We currently have over 750 members who are signed up and active on that Patreon page. And if you want to see which one of these YouTube picks I'm actually betting on personally, link for that site is in the description section below. That's patreon.com/BrockPage. Now, despite a handful of lackluster starts for Luis Castillo, his strikeouts are still up this year. He's fanned 121 batters in just over 121 innings of work. Cincinnati's also won 5 out of their last 7 ball games, and they rank in the top 3 in home scoring. Jesse Winker's hit 21 home runs and knocked in 60. Winker's also in the top 15 in the league in both batting average and OPS. The outfielders hitting .304 with an OPS of .927. Meanwhile, Eugenio Suarez and Joey Votto, they've each hit 21 homers apiece themselves. The Cincinnati lineup is also in the top 5 in home hits. Now they're taking on a last-place Minnesota club who dropped 6 out of their last 9. And they also find themselves 17 games below 500. The Twins have also gotten the W in just 21 out of 53 road games, and they rank in the bottom 3 in runs allowed. Now total-wise, 3 out of Minnesota's last 4 road games got over the number. They're also 36 and 17 to the over in all of their games away from home. Meanwhile, the Reds have gone 80% to the over in their last 10 themselves. I'm going to lean toward the Cincinnati Reds minus 1.5 and the over 9.5 runs. Next matchup, Mariners, Rays, 1:10 p.m. East. The Tampa Bay Rays are minus 160, numbers 8. Josh Fleming for the Rays, Logan Gilbert for Seattle. Despite several good outings, Logan Gilbert comes into today's start with a .404 ERA. Despite their recent success here, the Mariners still have a losing record on the road. They're just 24 and 27 straight up when traveling. Seattle's also dead last in the majors in hits on average per game. The Seattle lineup is being held to under 7.2 hits per contest. They're taking on a first-place Rays club who's 20 games above 500. And they allow only 3.3 runs a game on their home field. This Tampa pitching staff is also in the top 3 in fewest home hits allowed. Josh Fleming is 8-5 with a 1.19 whip. Meanwhile, offensively, this Rays lineup is in the top 5 in scoring. Brandon Lowe's hit 23 home runs and knocked in 55. The second baseman is currently in the top 20 in the majors in home runs. Meanwhile, Austin Meadows is 5th in the majors in RBI himself. The Sluggers knocked in 76 runners along with 20 home runs. Now, total-wise, Seattle went 7-3 to the over in their last 10 ball games, 33 and 18 to the over when they travel. I'm going to lean toward the Tampa Bay Rays minus 160 and the over 8 runs. Next matchup, Pirates, Brewers, 2:10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Milwaukee Brewers are minus 280, totals 8.5. Freddie Peralta for Milwaukee. Stephen Brault for Pittsburgh. Brault's making a season debut for the Pirates. Good to see him back in action. Having said that, though, he's starting for the last-place Pirates, who were 25 games below 500, and they also ranked dead last in scoring. Matter of fact, Pittsburgh's averaging only 3.6 runs a game, and they cashed in on the run line in only 38% of their divisional contests. They're taking on a first-place Milwaukee club who won 7 out of their last 10 themselves, and they lead the majors in fewest hits allowed. This Milwaukee pitching staff is holding their opponents to just 6.9 hits a game. They're also striking out nearly 11 batters a game on their home field. Freddie Peralta's 8-3 with a 2.17 ERA and a .87 WHIP. And of course, the righties also fanned 145 batters in just 108 innings of work. This Brewers team, they're giving up just 3.7 runs a game for the entire season. When it comes to the total in this one, Milwaukee went 60% to the under in their last 10 outings, 3-1 to the under in their last 4 at home. Meanwhile, the Pirates went 13-10 to the under in their divisional games on the road. I'm going to lean toward the Milwaukee Brewers -1.5 and the under 8.5 runs. But that, guys, now we're going to jump into our quick pick recap. I'm sorry, not quick pick recap. Next and final matchup for the show, it is going to be Padres versus the A's, 3:37 Eastern first pitch. The San Diego Padres are -115, numbers 8. Joe Musgrove for the Pods, Frankie Montas for the A's. The Montas has 8 losses on the year, 4.08 ERA, and a 1.25 WHIP. The A's have lost 6 out of their last 10, and they're in the bottom 10 in hits allowed at home. Meanwhile, offensively, this Oakland lineup is averaging only 6.9 hits a game at the Coliseum. They're also in the bottom 10 in home scoring. Now, they're taking on a San Diego club who's on a 2-game winning streak, and that includes an 8-1 victory over Oakland just yesterday. The Padres have won 6 out of their last 7 interleague games on the road. San Diego's officially 10-2 to the, they're 10-2 straight up in their last dozen interleague contests at any location. The San Diego lineup's in the top 5 in road scoring, top 10 in road hits. Manny Machado's hit 20 home runs and knocked in 75. The third baseman's actually 6th in the majors in runs batted in. Meanwhile, Jake Cronenworth has hit 15 homers, along with 189 total bases. And of course, pitching-wise, Joe Musgrove's got 7 wins thus far in the year, along with a 2.94 ERA. Now, the righty has also struck out 134 batters and also has a .98 WHIP. Now, total-wise, San Diego's gone 70% to the over in their last 10 outings. The Pods are also 10-2 to the over in their last dozen interleague contests. I'm going to lean toward the San Diego Padres -115. And the over 8 runs of that, guys. Now it's time for our quick pick recap. Powered to you by my Patreon website. I like Cincinnati -1.5 over 9.5 runs. Tampa Bay -160 over 8. Milwaukee -1.5 under 8.5. Before I give you my next and final free pick for the video, one final reminder that we are 5-0 in our last 5 extra daily pick tier package plays on my Patreon website. We're also 3-0 in our last 3 Major League Baseball tier package picks on that Patreon page as well. I'm going to lean toward the San Diego Padres -115. And the over 8 runs of that, guys. Now it's time for our shout out of the day. And that goes to Carlo Brown Comedy, who says, Brock is my favorite capper. I'm glad I signed up to your Patreon page. All winners. Of course, Carlo Brown, you're my favorite comedian as well. Carlo Brown Comedy, I certainly appreciate the comment. Now, I got to be honest, they're not all winners on Patreon. I certainly appreciate the optimism. They're not all winners all the time, but we do win a lot of games on that Patreon site. So I certainly appreciate your support, and I appreciate you taking the time out to send me some kind words. Really appreciate it. And once again, shout out to Carlo Brown Comedy. All right, guys, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to check me out on Patreon. Now, if you guys do end up getting a membership on my Patreon website here today, just keep in mind Patreon's going to bill you the day you sign up, and then the first of every month following that. As I always say in most of my videos, the earlier in the month you sign up, the better. And of course, it's only the 4th of August, so you're really getting great value if you sign up today. You're getting great value by signing up early in the month. But most importantly, guys, got to thank you for joining me right here on YouTube. I really hope you enjoyed all this great free content, all this great free information. With that said, guys, happy Wednesday to you. Happy hump day to you. And I look forward to seeing you later on today on my website at patreon.com/BrockPage.